Hey people, thanks for joining me again. In today's video it's going to be a really quick one. I actually slightly started this job already, but I will run through the whole process with you again. In this video I will be using a tool that is complete overkill. You won't need to use it unless you are drilling into a masonry wall, but we will be basically installing a shelf. Nice and simple, just a standard household shelf. This one in particular is from IKEA. So it's a floating shelf. This is the back plate, as you can see, and we'll be installing it on this wall up here. So as you can see, I've already drilled the holes. For this video, what you will need is a spirit level, a drill, a normal drill, or in my case, an impact driver, which is, as I said, complete overkill for this one because we are just drilling into a plasterboard wall, but it is set onto the cutest setting as possible to make it as easy on the wall as it is. So anyway, I worked out how high I want my shelf to be, and then what I used is my handy spirit level, measured where I want the top of the shelf to be, and then I drew a straight line across, as you can see there. Once I'd done that, I then placed the bracket that is getting screwed to the wall, being this one, in place, and then I put some pencil markings into the holes, which then I had my pilot positionings available. Once I'd done that, I then just drilled in to the holes with a normal drill and drill bit designed for walls. This one is designed for masonry walls in particular. Unfortunately, this is a pretty heavy duty stuff, but it does the job as long as you're gentle. As I said, this tool is complete overkill. Just a normal drill, a bit similar to an impact driver, will be sufficient enough for a plasterboard wall. Unless you're doing into a main wall, which is concrete, you will need something a bit more suitable like this impact driver. The reason I'm using this is because I've just done this job, which you'll probably see in another video. I'll put the link up in the description. Anyway, so I'm just drilling these holes. I just need to drill it a little bit bigger in order for our plugs. Now, when you're drilling into a plasterboard wall, you need to use plugs that are sufficient for a plasterboard. The last thing you want is the whole wall to be pulled off, or the plugs or shells to be pulled off. So in this instance, I'm going with these ones. These are universal nylon plugs, and they are designed for all general fixings, which includes masonry walls, hollow back, natural stone, aircrete, and plasterboard. And as you can see with the plasterboard setting, what it does is this fixing, it twists up behind the wall to give it a nice sturdy fixing. So it's very important with this one. They are 50 mil, which is 5 centimeters, as you know. Very important that you use screws that are adequately long enough that they can reach the end of the fixing, because it needs to go through that hole in order to pull this close together. So if you're using, for instance, a 5 centimeter plug, then you should use a 6 centimeter screw, which is 60 mils, and that will allow you sufficient space to get it to grip onto the end and start pulling it, twisting it up so it grips onto the wall. Obviously that is not an issue if you're doing into a masonry wall, because it will just expand around the screw, and that's where you get your fixing. Whereas because these are hollow behind, you need something in order to mount it together. So I do recommend that you also check for pipes and cables. You can use that with a pipe detector, and that will just find any pipes or anything that may be in the wall where you're drilling. Last thing you want to do is drill through a cold or hot feed pipe and then have a massive problem on your hands. So we fixed these at just the right size. That it just needs a gentle tap and hammering just to get it into the wall. You don't want to overkill because you need these fixings to be as tight as possible. And as I said, because this is a stud wall, I am using all of them. So we've got 4, 8, 10 holes to fix into place. I am using them all to make the shelf as solid as possible. You never know what might be placed on the shelf temporarily that might just end up pulling it out of place. So we're using all the fixings to make sure it is as tight as can be. Right, so that's all of our plugs in. Now all we've got to do is put the shelf up. I just put 2 at the top, either side, to minimise the pressure on it. So with these ones, once they screw in, you don't just stop, you keep doing it a bit more to allow it to wind into itself, twist up and tangle, so you get a nice fix in. Now that's done, slide the shelf on, all good. Put in the 2 top screws to hold the shelf in place. So that is the shelf all hung in place, nicely done. And this is another one that I've done. This one is fixed to a masonry wall, so the fixings feel a little more sturdier. But as long as you use the right supports, you should be pretty good to go. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you like my videos, please do like, subscribe, leave me a comment as well. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you in the next one.